Not, we'll move to the approval of the minutes of our March 7th Commissioner meeting, and as well as workshops that were held on March 6th and March 13th.
Make a motion to approve those minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved. Before we do this, I formally want to say happy birthday to Laura and to Commissioner Cooley. I understand it's their birthdays today, so we'll get off on.
Are we going to sing?
Maybe later.
Later?
Maybe later.
Okay.
Sally, the floor is yours.
Okay. All right, we had receipts on March the 19th and 20th of $20,727.12. Our total cash right now is $4,046,808.24. Our expenditures this week were $1,386,346.81. Our tax claim is $55,003.32, leaving a cash balance of $2,605,458.11.
Motion?
Motion to approve the treasurer's report subject to audit.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved.
You got the cash back up?
Yes,
Thank you.
so we usually, as soon as taxes come in, I could usually pay back the reserve. So, okay, we need to approve some debt payments for April 15th.
Yep.
The first one is $172,509.87, and that's for the GOB Series 2016 loan.
Motion to approve that payment.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve that general obligation bond payment. Any questions regarding the motion? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved.
Okay, then we have $26,524.98 for our 2017 GOB bond.
Make a motion to approve the general obligation bond for 2017.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved.
And then we'll have $669,949.45 for our general obligation bond of 2021.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved.
Okay,
Anything else?
that's it.
All right, thank you. Sally. Morning.
Morning. Michelle Snavely, Director of Human Resources. Under Personnel Transactions, Resignations and Terminations, Michelle Kaufman, Volunteer Resource Coordinator 1 at Area Agency on Aging, termination effective March 6th. Dylan Laraba, Caseworker 1 in Children and Youth Services, resignation, it's a date correction to March 8th. Beth Redinger, full-time MATP Coordinator at Community Action Partnerships, retirement effective September 28th. Mitchell David, full-time correctional officer at the jail, resignation effective March 11th, last working day, January 7th. Jamel Glover, full-time correctional officer at the jail, resignation effective March 15th. Valerie Anderson, full-time correctional officer at the jail, resignation effective March 15th. Tammy Lick, office support 1 at the jail, removal, no call, no show, effective March 11th. Zachary Faust and Rima Minnick, both full-time telecommunicators, both with the Department of Emergency Services, both rescinded their acceptance of employment that was supposed to be effective on March 18th. Dalton Lavelle, full-time telecommunicator, Department of Emergency Services, resignation effective March 30th. Stephen Kiefer, detective, District Attorney's Office, Detectives Bureau, termination effective March 18th. Tylisha Irizarry, District Justice Office Support 1 at MDJ Figueroa's, resignation, date correction to March 1st. Talita Godusky, Juvenile Probation Officer, Probation Services, resignation effective March 22nd. Darren Ernfield, Juvenile Probation Officer, Probation Services, resignation effective April 1st. Morgana Bradley, Residential Services Coordinator at the Redova Center, resignation effective March 12th. And Stephen Gatos, Chief Deputy Sheriff in the Sheriff's Office, retirement effective April 2nd.
Make a motion to approve the resignations and terminations as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
I'd like to wish Sheriff Gaidos good retirement. He's been here quite a while.
Under leaves of absence, Mitchell David from the jail, 4-week leave of absence, all unpaid, effective February 12th, with return date of March 12th. And Donald Perkins, jail, 30-day leave of absence, all PTO, effective March 8th, return April 6th.
Motion to approve those leaves.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those LOAs. Any questions? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so ordered.
Under changes of status, transfers, and promotions, I have several motions. The first is to acknowledge the amended order of the court from President Judge John C. Tilwalk, ordering effective retroactive to January 1, 2023. All court-appointed employees working in the Probation Services Department who meet the on-call eligibility requirements as per department policy and have been approved by this court and/or its designee to be eligible to participate in on-call status and to be paid in accordance with the rates set forth and ratified by the current Court-Appointed Professionals Collective Bargaining Agreement. This will result in retroactive pay for those assigned on call from January 1, 2023 through October 19, 2023 when the original order became effective.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the President Judge's order. Any questions regarding the motion? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Motion to approve President Judge Tilwalk's recommendation to increase the law clerk positions within the courts from 35 hours worked per week to 40 hours worked per week, effective April 1st, 2024.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve that order of, that recommendation of President Judge Tilwalk. Any questions regarding the motion? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Motion to approve President Judge Tilwalk's recommendation to increase the law clerk without the bar positions within the courts from a grade 13 to a grade 14 on the non-union salary chart, effective April 1st, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve President Judge Tilwalk's recommendation to increase the law clerk without the law degree. Any questions regarding the motion? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Motion to approve the recommendation of Sheriff Jeffrey C. Marley Jr. to add a second interpreter stipend in the Sheriff's Office budget at the rate of $1,500 annually, effective April 1st, 2024.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve Sheriff Marley's recommendation. Any questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same signs, so moved.
Motion to approve Treasurer Sally Newland's request to have the current employees in the Treasurer's Office and Belinda Spicer in tax claim to work an additional 2.5 hours per week at straight pay and up to a maximum of 5 hours per week at overtime pay for approximately 6 to 8 weeks as needed, effective March 25th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same signs, so moved.
Jamie Montavolo, promotion from Adult Abuse Investigator at Area Agency on Aging to Aging Care Manager Supervisor 2 at Area Agency on Aging at the rate of $2,279.82 biweekly, effective April 1st.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve that transaction. Any questions? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Under other transactions, I have another motion to approve Chief Clerk of Voter Registration Sean Josher's recommendation to create a temporary full-time deputy position within the Voter Registration Office for Suzanne Hauser to provide training to the new deputy employee for the period of April 1st, 2024 through Suzanne's last day on May 3rd, 2024.
Make a motion to approve Sean's request for voter registration.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Children and Youth would like to hire Mark Catherman as a caseworker 1 at the rate of $1,562.16 biweekly effective March 25th. District Attorney would like to hire Trinity Graff as a full-time central booking agent in the central booking department at the rate of $15.08 per hour effective March 25th. President Judge Tillwalk would like to hire Jacina Schubert as a DJ Office Support 1 for MDJ Figueroa's office at the rate of $982.34 biweekly effective March 25th. And voter registration would like to hire Joy Scarborough, if I said that wrong, correct me, the deputy at the rate of $1,410.27 biweekly effective April 1st.
A motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those transactions. Any questions regarding the motion? Just note that our new person is here, brave enough to be here for the vote. That's pretty good. Way to start. And welcome. It's too late. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same signs. So moved.
Moving on to Salary Board, motion to approve all transactions previously read, plus the following. Judith Huber, salary increase, law clerk at the courts to the rate of $2,657.17 biweekly effective April 1st. Toby Burris, salary increase, law clerk in the courts to the rate of $2,016.10 biweekly effective April 1st. Daybell Andujar, interpreter pay, full-time deputy sheriff in the sheriff's office, annual interpreter pay of $1,500 effective April 1st, which is prorated. And Santos Varela, longevity payment, full-time correctional officer at the jail, one-time 35-year payment at the rate of $3,750. Bradley Seifert, salary increase, lieutenant in the sheriff's office to the rate of $2,431.81 biweekly effective April 1st. And Amanda Rittenauer, salary increase, lieutenant in the sheriff's office to the rate of $2,431.81 biweekly effective April 1st.
Make a motion to approve those requests.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the salary board recommendations. Any questions? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same signs. So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
We're a little bit over budget for time for the rail trail folks. They did less than I expected, so I'll fill in
Sure.
there and just kind of adapt and maybe end up with board elections really soon.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Aaron, just introduce yourself and then
Sure.
proceed.
Yep, my name's Erin Moyer and I'm the administrator for Children and Youth. I'm here today to present first and second quarter invoices for fiscal year 23-24. First up, we have our first quarter invoices for fiscal year 23-24 in the total amount of $3,354,708, and I ask that you approve first quarter invoices for fiscal year 23-24.
Motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those first quarter invoices for children and youth. Any questions? If not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So moved.
Next, I have second quarter invoices for fiscal year 23-24 in the total amount of $3,368,270, and I ask that you approve those second quarter invoices for fiscal year 23-24.
I'll make a motion to approve the second quarter invoices as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and duly seconded. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So moved.
And that's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good.
Before she leaves, I just would like to recognize Ms. Moyer for her going above and beyond the call of her duties in helping to organize the Youth Only Day of Fishing, which is coming up on April 13th. Where we've been doing that event for 20 years now, and Jim Holtree was one of the founders of that event, but Erin has taken the reins, and God bless you, and thank you for doing that. I know
In your
a lot of
spare
kids
time.
about
Yes,
it. Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Aaron.
Not a lot of happy kids there.
Yeah.
Morning.
Good morning.
Happy birthday, Mike.
And Laura.
And
What?
Laura,
Oh,
yeah.
Laura. I didn't see you over there.
Tom, when we have celebrities here, we have to get them up front.
I'd like to introduce Chuck Stradowski, who's with YSM Landscape Architects. They did the design of the park, John E. Wengert Memorial Park. And after great anticipation and several years of fundraising, we're at the point where we're ready to bid it. I think it said opening the bids on the agenda. That was an error. We're actually here just to get approval to advertise for bids.
So would you introduce your colleagues, those fine volunteers here?
Sure. Todd Dissinger, Vice President of LVRT, or Treasurer, and Tom Cote, Board Member of LVRT, and critical grant writer.
Yes,
For us.
both critical volunteers for the history, throughout the whole history of the rail trail. So anyway, with all that, you're up.
Yeah, again, as John said, we're anxious to get the project going. You know, the master plan that was done a number of years ago, but we looked at, they applied for a grant for phase one, which was essentially a traffic garden, a small kind of a tricycle track and playground area for kids so that they could have a safe place to play right off the Lebanon Valley Rail Trail. And then a little further down, there was an area for fitness equipment that also came about. So submitted the grant based on the master plan here, and we've been working over the past year or so to kind of finalize construction documents that we're at a point where we're very close to getting ready to bid the project. And these are just kind of illustrations of the construction documents. You can see it came out pretty close to what the original plan was. So there is a children's playground, age segregated, that is situated here, and a tricycle track runs around the area with, again, just ways for kids to ride bikes safely off the streets. It's played up as a little town. There's a small town square in the center with facades of buildings, crosswalks, you know, stop signs, railroad crossings, all the things, you know, kids just to kind of light their imagination and, you know, enjoy the park. So, playground area, there's a picnic pavilion that goes associated with it, and it's right at the confluence of Quiddy Creek and the Hazel Dyke stream that runs through. So, playground, and then, as I say, the fitness area further down the site, but two areas with just, you know, nice quality outdoor exercise equipment so people can get some outdoor fitness in along the trail. A small pavilion also to anchor that, just to provide shade in the heat of the summer. So,
Can you point out the rail trail? Where's the rail trail on
yeah, the rail trail, it's hard to read on this graphic.
East to 12th Street.
Yeah, the rail trail, I guess, there's a trail now that runs up this way, and then there's a spur that's under construction that is, you know, in light gray, kind of runs this way through the site and all the way out. So both areas of these improvements, the fitness area is located immediately adjacent to the trail, and then the playground is again, up the Hazel Dyke, just north of the trail.
It's really transforming that whole area all the way up to 22nd, and you know, it's
Yeah, a lot happening in
a lot of good,
that couple blocks.
yeah, a lot
Yes.
of good things happening. Yeah.
In the building facade area of the traffic garden, we did try to make it themed towards the dairy, so that'd be the connection with my dad. So they have some early photos of the dairy, and you know, there's going to be some silos and things that'll be pretty interesting. Pretty excited about that part.
Awesome.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
Go
little,
through old photos. Yeah, here.
yeah, some construction details. Again, I talked about there's like a town square for the tricycle track, so all the trails kind of confluence at the one trail, and then we have these little block facades, and as John pointed out, you know, one is kind of emblematic of the Wengert dairy that sits there, so it is there, and little more detail, scale of the playground. So again, that square is here. The dairy is represented over here. The facade for that is there. Some silos that'll kind of be a backdrop to that facade, and then of course the larger playground area near that. So we are again at a point where I think we're pretty close to bid. A couple details to work out, but we just wanted to kind of present it to you and
Just look for our blessing to go forward with the
move
bid
forward
process.
with the bids. Yep.
All right.
Motion to.
Oh, sorry.
Motion to authorize moving forward with entertaining bids.
Second.
Okay, Jim.
Could you go over a timeline for us on
Yeah, we're.
bidding and construction, et cetera?
We are hopeful to put the project advertised for bid next Friday, if all goes well. We still have a couple approvals to secure, but we think that's pretty reasonable. So bid within 2 weeks. We would have a 4-week bidding period, and then ultimately be under construction or look to be close to get a contractor on board and ready to construct in late May, which actually dovetails really nice with, they're still paving out there, the rail trail as it goes through the park site. The stone is down. They have, they kind of went into winter mode, but I think April 1st, they plan on being back out there to.
They're out.
Okay.
They're working now. Yeah,
pave the trails.
the timing's working out unbelievably perfectly
Yeah.
because
Awesome.
they said yesterday in the update that they're going to be off-site by the end of April. So
Good.
that works out
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah, in a perfect world, we would like to get that contractor off site, so this contractor who gets this project, doesn't have any encumbrances with that, so that would be good.
And then once construction begins, when's completion?
We have a completion in, I don't know the exact date, but it's October of this year. So we want to get them done and wrapped up, kind of right at the tail end of the seeding season, so ideally give them the whole summer to build it, and then be able to fine grade, seed the areas in that nice early fall type of season. So we would look for in October or early November to be 100% complete and final payment to the contractor.
I like the design. I appreciate it. I know there's sliding boards in it. That was something your mom and I had talked about. Well, we both kind of like sliding boards. Anyhow, the one thing I still am not clear on, what is the plan for addressing the invasive species on the bank that draw the spotted lanternflies, and they're just a pain?
Yeah, I think the bank's being cleared as part of this phase, and I believe phase 1 they're going to work on clearing the rest of the bank as part of the what's under construction now. That was the intent of that contract. So we don't necessarily address that in here, but I think it's going to be rectified.
We talked about that yesterday in the meeting with the contractor, JVI. We added that. The rest of that bank's going to be cleared and grubbed, and then we'll have to reseed it with some other type of coverage, vegetative coverage.
Is it some kind of a covering that can? I mean, I don't know how you're keeping it from coming back. That's the real question. If the roots are in there, they're going to keep coming back. What is it that you're doing to address that?
That's not currently in any plan.
Okay.
We'll have to address that as we get further into the park. There's going to be a lot more planting and development even after this.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of room in there. There's a lot of space. This is really just the first phase of the park.
Mm-hmm.
So it can go quite a bit further west.
In the long term, again, the original master plan, because there are some steep banks out there, if Vision Chestnut Street is here, and this little kind of graphic is the idea that is a steep embankment that drops straight down. We always thought that some kind of a native grass mix would work well on that, so it would be something you wouldn't have to mow because it's too steep really to mow. So if we can get a nice native grass mixture on those slopes, and once they get a hold of it, your point about the seeds are there, and it is going to be hard to, but once the native grasses can get established, usually it takes a good 2 years. Once you get them established, then they should be able to control
I mean,
the invasives as
they did quite a bit of excavation down there for the site work. So they took a pretty good layer off the top of most of that area. So I'd be surprised. Well, I don't know. We'll see if they come back. We'll see.
All right.
A little bit concerned because the estimate we did on this was a couple of years ago. So we'll see how the bids come in. Just address that. Cross that bridge when we have to, but yeah. Hopefully they'll be in line. But there's some things we could modify if we need to.
Yeah. Again, we do have a couple of details, and I think we'll try to put some alternates into the bid so that we can if the prices do come in higher than we hoped, maybe we can back some items out and still get a successful project going.
Any other questions? If not, all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Before they leave, I was just crediting her and Moyer for the work on the youth-only fishing. I want to credit Mr. Wengert and Swiss Premium for every year we've approached them, and this year is no exception. They're donating drinks for the kids. So
No problem.
thank you.
It's not a problem.
all right, Todd, what are you
Pleasure.
doing for us today?
Tom's talking. Good morning, Commissioners.
Thank you. Good morning, Thomas.
Yeah, we're here again to present a reapplication to DCNR for Phase 10B. 10B is out in the northern part of the county, and it's the northernmost section of the rail trail. This grant application is for 2.1 miles of rail trail construction, primarily on rail bed, but there is some Union Canal property close by that has some very real significance. But this would be from Pine Tree Road in Union Township northward under the underpass of I-78 out to Lickdale Road, State Route 1020. There's an attached location map. Very costly project, about $3.2 million. The current cost estimate we just provided to you for the media, the new cost estimate is in your packet. It's about $3.2 million. And the breakdown is we're asking for a DCNR grant of $750,000. That's this application. And we have a pending application and approval with PennDOT. That decision is going to be announced shortly for about $2.45 million. As always, any cost overruns are our responsibility locally and privately. We need to submit this grant application to DCNR by April 3rd, but I hope to do that just as soon as I can. We're waiting for one or two more letters of support, but they should be coming in shortly, and then we'll submit the grant application to PennDOT.
DCNR.
Excuse me, to DCNR. Thank you, John, DCNR.
You needed a motion for that, John?
Yes, we do, and we have a resolution, Commissioner, that you must sign again that goes with each DCNR application. So yeah, we need a motion and an approval to resubmit this application to DCNR.
I make a motion to resubmit the application to DCNR for the Phase 10B of the rail trail.
Second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we move forward with that application, reapplication. Any questions regarding the motion? The experts are here. Yes.
What was the reason that you have to resubmit?
Well, that's a good question, and let's talk a little bit about that. When we submitted last year, we didn't have a firm commitment of PennDOT on the 2.45 million, Laura, and now we're just moments away from getting that approval. The two secretaries of PennDOT and DCNR have talked about this, so the approvals are in the works now. They weren't last year at this time. Okay, that's a great question. Great question.
And Matt, did you have something? Okay. Anything else? Jim?
Yeah, could you lay out a timeline like we did a minute ago, like,
Yeah, we're hoping-
monies come in, ideally, then
Yeah.
what happens next?
Well, the unique thing with this project is well into final design already, okay? So we plan to go to construction next spring of 2025, have the project completed by the end of calendar year 2025.
You said it'll be finished by the end of 2025, okay.
It's actually an easy construction project because we're just putting a surface on the rail bed for the most part, doing a bridge, doing a little bit of rehab of another structure or two, and it's a pretty simple, straightforward project.
Famous last words. Okay.
This, right.
Yeah, that's true, that's true, that's true.
Luckily, we don't keep track of all these timelines that we started
That's
10
all
years
right,
ago.
that's all right.
But this section, I think I've said it before, is going to be a real scenic section, probably the most scenic section of the trail, in my opinion, just having walked it. And it'll connect Jonestown to Swatara State Park.
Huge.
May I ask about the bridge? I walked north from, past the fishing boat there at Jonestown and out till I couldn't go anymore. I came to the Swatara Creek and I didn't see a bridge, but it says you're rehabilitating a bridge. Which bridge?
It's further out, it's further north.
Oh, further north.
Further north.
That spot needs a new bridge. That's
Yeah.
included in this budget.
It
Yeah.
is in this budget.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was
Yeah, it's
wondering.
two structures. It's one rehabilitation and one completely new structure.
Okay, and what kind of bridge is it? Is it a wooden bridge, a steel bridge?
It'll probably be steel.
Yeah, because it's got to handle heavy loads.
It'll probably,
It's a large span too.
Yeah.
it could be prefab though. They do pretty large prefab structures.
Oh, do
You
they?
just drop in there.
What is
Simple
this thing?
stuff.
Okay.
Just drop it in there.
They bring it in by Huey or what?
Yeah. Well, Jamie usually sets up the helicopter to put the bridges in place based on our experience at Wilhelm Avenue.
Actually, where that bridge is gone, there's some pretty neat structures left that when the old railroad bridge went across, the water ran under these square like openings. And I think there was 4 of them, I think we figured out. Over time, as water floods came and stuff, some of that stuff has washed away.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool just looking at those because it's a pretty sharp drop off there at that where that bridge is going to go.
I didn't see any pictures, and I'm like, are they gonna put in a new bridge? I don't know where they're redoing it, but that's further out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Wilson is designing that structure.
Yes.
Yes, yes they are.
That would be an interesting application of a
Reuse.
prefab.
Yep. Or, yeah.
Because some of the composite prefabs don't stand up to the road treatments, the winter treatment, and in this case there won't be any winter treatment. So
Right.
I'll just add that, the ongoing success of getting these grants and so on reflects your relationships with those folks, DCNR and PennDOT and so on, and your performance, the history that we have in terms of coming through with what we've promised. So that's all. Thank you for all your efforts in making that all happen.
Well, they like the fact that the commissioners here have always been on board and supportive too. That helps a lot because not every place has that. And these are competitive now. I mean, really competitive, the grants, especially DCNR because their budget's pretty limited. And we're lucky we have Lori Yike.
Yeah, she's been there.
She's been with us for the whole time since the beginning,
Yeah.
and that really helps.
Well, we're just gonna tell her she can't retire
I
until
know.
after,
Yeah.
we get our trail done.
and the more you get completed, the more likely the next one will come along in funding because when you only have a few more pieces
Yeah,
to put
that's
together.
kind of what PennDOT
Yeah.
tells us.
Yeah,
You know?
PennDOT tells us that, but DCNR also now calls the rail trail a project of high value. And that means we're close to that 25 plus miles being completed.
Wow.
And, when you look at usage, we're not blowing our horn here, but we estimate 350,000 annual users of the rail trail. It's phenomenal. Since COVID, the use has just blown up.
And it's stayed.
Oh, it's huge.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Thousands a day sometimes.
And I don't know if you mentioned this, but this gets connected to the Swatara State Park, which I don't know if you ever. Well, I know Joanne, you've been out there, but that big loop takes you all the way up. Basically, that goes all the way up to Route 81.
It's 14 miles.
So yeah.
Yep.
All right.
That's already done.
And that is the most northern part of the rail trail after this is completed. That'll
Yeah,
be-
that's a good point, because we just had a meeting with Bureau of State Parks about the other side of Lickdale Road. But right now, our position is this will be the end of the LVRT at Lickdale Road. Because on the other side of Lickdale Road, State Parks was the grantee of the easement. So they're holding the easement. And so I think we'll stop our project right at Lickdale Road. Across the street will become State Park.
Sweet.
Yep.
All right. All good news. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So moved.
Okay, thank you.
I'm excited. I can't wait till it's done. And so are a lot of people. Lots of
Yeah.
questions out there about when's it gonna get done?
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of questions on Facebook about that.
Yeah.
Just for the commissioners, I think one of our next big efforts as well is going to be getting this ordinance in place for the rail trail use, going out to municipalities
I saw
and
that.
going through all of that. So I think we're getting closer to finalizing the ordinance.
Yeah, I think so. Matt?
Yeah, we've worked together, and I know the attorney too that's done some work for the
Tim,
rail trail.
yeah.
Yeah, Tim has also been involved in the communications as well. So, and then we want to have a dialogue with the municipalities because they're going to be the ones sort of enforcing the
Right.
ordinance.
Yeah, I think that's the next step. We were
Yeah.
going to go out and present it to the municipalities.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank
Have a
you,
great
guys.
day.
Keep up the great work.
Happy birthday. I heard you on the radio.
You used all your time anyway.
I know. Was it? I don't know which one it is.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hello. Is that on our speaker?
What Jamie's
Turn that off and see if it's that one. Nope, not her. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome, and Audrey, if you'd like to introduce
Absolutely.
yourself.
Audrey Fortnett, Director of Lebanon County Probation Services.
Mallory Hetrick, Adult Probation Officer.
Mallory is our Drug Court Officer. Good morning. This morning I am here to ask for your consideration of a contract with Take Heart Counseling and Equine Assisted Therapy. Probation Services is interested in contracting with Take Heart out of Wernersville, Pennsylvania, for the purpose of offering group equine assisted therapy to individuals whose lives have been impacted by trauma. The sessions will initially be available to participants of our drug court program with the hope of expanding it to our other treatment courts and then probation participants. The cost of the sessions have already been built into the IP grant, so there's no cost to the county. Take Heart consists of licensed professional counselors, licensed behavior specialists, and licensed marriage and family therapists. Some of the curriculum includes building resilience for overcoming trauma, coming to terms with past choices and moving past them, breaking old patterns of behavior, setting realistic and achievable goals for your future, and healing through healthy relationships with self and others. It's an opportunity for us to provide a different approach to counseling and therapy. Sometimes the regular standard individual or group approach doesn't work for some individuals, and so we're trying to reach other people who may have more of an impact through this. Because there's a level of risk involved with equine and outdoor activities, all participants are required to sign a Take Heart release of liability and waiver. Our county solicitor is also working on, thank you, Attorney Googly, is also working on a waiver for Lebanon County. So they'll be required to sign both waivers, and Take Heart is also insured. So we respectfully ask for your support in signing this contract.
Yeah.
Just one comment,
Sure.
the funding for this is coming from the Intermediate Punishment Grant, which is PCCD.
Correct.
Right, just to want to clarify.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve this contract.
And I'll second the motion. I think it's kind of cool. You're gonna have people lining up for that program, I believe.
Well, we have a group identified already as our kind of pilot group to see how the first session goes, and we'll meet with them. The nice thing about Take Heart is they're very adaptable to what our needs are, and so we'll definitely survey the individuals who participate and see, you know, if any changes need to be made. If we have a different group that we put together that have different needs, they have the ability to kind of alter the programming.
Are all the rides on their property, or do they go out like on the rail trail or something?
No. Honestly, most of the interaction is going to be done on the ground.
Okay.
There may be some where they actually saddle up, but it's contained in like a large barn area.
Okay.
Anything?
Is this adults?
It is.
Okay.
Yes. For now, it is adults.
Okay.
We've not talked about this for juveniles at
You
all.
guys ride?
I do, yes.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay.
So they're not riding, they're like grooming the horses or whatever?
So it would be interactions within different settings. So it would be in like an outdoor arena or an indoor arena. Well, they'll be hand walking, they'll be interacting with other people, going over obstacles, but 9 times out of 10, they will not be actually riding the horses.
John had a
Is
question.
this
Oh,
the
sorry.
program that's planned for the Quentin Riding Club?
No.
That's a separate,
It is.
okay. Because they're doing something, talking about doing
Okay.
something similar there for veterans
Oh, okay.
with equine therapy.
Okay.
Louis Hurst owns that property.
No, I'm not familiar with that.
There was an article in Lettown about it about a month ago. I was just curious if it was the same thing. Okay, thanks.
I gather the theory behind it is it's not therapeutic riding, it's the presence of the horses that offers the therapy. It's a calming
Correct.
effect. It's sort of like, I don't mean
Like a therapy dog.
to necessarily equate this directly with crowd control, but when horses are present in crowd control, it calms the crowd, and I think it's the same effect. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
People often forget they're in a counseling session.
Did you want to?
Could use a
No.
couple here.
All right. If nothing else, all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
your
you.
support.
Yep. Thank you for the innovation. Appreciate that. Okay. All right, the train's running on time. Anybody care for the packet?
I think they.
What do you got? You good?
Is that the horse thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Morning.
Good morning.
We have another packet to review. Would you like to introduce yourself, and then you may go ahead?
Sure. My name is Adrienne Lacer. I'm the administrator of Lebanon County Office of Aging. So today I'm here to end up presenting our 4-year plan through Pennsylvania Department of Aging. This plan will end up going from October 1st, 2024 through September 30th of 2028. The plan was created from information gathered from the last 4 years and the changes occurring in Lebanon County, while also following a process outlined by Pennsylvania Department of Aging. The AAA examined local demographic information, needs assessment data obtained from the master plan sessions that were completed countywide in September of 2023, along with other community factors. The AAA established goals based on specific focus areas provided by Pennsylvania Department of Aging and outlined details, objectives, strategies based on the local community. Related performance measures were established so AAA can measure its success in reaching the goals in the next 4 years.
A public hearing was also held on October 31st, 2023 for any type of community feedback to add to this plan. So with the outline of that, some of the information in this is also an introduction to what Lebanon County Office of Aging is and when it was established in 1974. It also provides information of community outreach and the needs assessment. This is also including information from the Advisory Council and an Aging Inspired Committee, along with the feedback from the sessions that were completed in September of 2023 for the master plan, where we ended up asking our seniors, including and not limited to, what their feedback was on our housing, transportation, in-home support, communication barriers, and civic issues within our community. From these 4 public hearings that were provided, there were 5 topics that kept coming up as a focus. And one was provide more diverse transportation options, create more of a dementia-friendly resources, services, and supports within our community, expand on the AAA services that are not just core services to include other county agencies, coalitions, and to provide a stronger network of services. Number 4 would be focus on inclusivity of the Spanish-speaking population and to continue to grow Lebanon County Area Agency on Aging's Protective Service Unit.
Which you're already committed to, number 5.
Yes. Yes, it has grown quite nicely in the last 6 to 8 months. There's an agency overview. It ends up having our mission statement and our vision, our values. We have included here our organizational structure within our agency. And just to add some information here, we're similar to 52 other AAAs within the state of Pennsylvania. And we're also governed by an advisory board, which is an 18-member advisory board. We meet bi-monthly, and they provide feedback to me from the community and end up also assisting in what they end up feeling is needed in the community for aging. Some of our demographics. According to U.S. Census data from 2022, the population estimates 143,257 residents in Lebanon County, with 20.5% being 65 and older. And the Pennsylvania average overall is only 19.6% of the 65 and older. And what we've been seeing is the baby boomer population is starting to come in to effect with us needing to end up amping up our services and hopefully having more funding to be able to do that. There's some other demographic information listed in this for race and ethnicity for Lebanon County. And there's also service utilization listed here, which ends up giving some numbers to the amount of services and people we served here in Lebanon County last year through the Office of Aging.
And I think some things like housing that you reference in here, they're outside your scope of
right.
But you still want to show that
Yes.
those are needs. Yes.
That did come up in the master plan sessions, and it's well known, and it's basically statewide also as to the issues that we're having. It's statewide. There's housing issues with not having subsidized housing for the lower income seniors. There's just not enough senior housing, enough assisted living and personal care, which is all private pay, that is affordable for our seniors. So those are all things at this point through this master plan sessions that was happening in September, where the state gathered that information. They're putting a plan together for the next 10 years on how to end up supporting and correcting the deficits that we end up having for the aging population. So community outreach that was completed were the 4 master plan sessions, and they were September 6th, September 13th, September 20th, and September 27th. Myself and the deputy administrator went and provided these sessions at the different senior centers throughout Lebanon County, and from that, that's where I ended up coming up with the different goals that we can end up working on. So one of the goals is transportation options. Seniors were saying that it's not the easiest for them to end up getting around. It's used a lot for medical, but for them to be able to go out socially, I would like to see it get a little stronger to accommodate their needs. Also, a dementia-friendly community, working with some other community agencies where we're putting a pamphlet together to be able to direct them in the different ways of supports of what they can find in the community for people that have dementia. We do end up getting a lot of calls through protective services that family members don't know the next steps and what to take for somebody that has dementia, whether they have a power of attorney or whether they don't. So that would hopefully be listed in our cheat sheet that we're going to put together out to the community. Also looking to expand some of Lebanon County AAA services to the seniors so they can age in place. The state ends up wanting us to at least provide core services, but some of the non-core services I'd like to end up bringing back to end up supporting them in the community, which we're working on. And I know that was brought up with these different master plan sessions that other counties would like to end up seeing those non-core services come back, such as home support, med dispensers, and some other things that just weren't falling under core services, which our core services are considered personal care, Meals on Wheels, and a Lifeline unit. The other part is social inclusion and outreach to our Spanish population. We found that there is lack from us being able to get into that population and having contacts, trying to get our information out to them and what services are there. So we have recently been able to hook up with some Spanish women that are pretty strong in the community. Actually, we found them through different churches, and we're only starting that at this point, trying to coordinate our information to be able to get it out into their community. And last, what I have as one of the goals is develop an elder abuse task force, which that would end up hopefully including crisis, our court system, our county solicitor, our protective service unit, and guardianship agencies that we end up working with. So some of the other things that I can't work on in our plan, but they're definitely there and we're in need of under some quality management things, is housing. And again, it comes to the fact that we just don't have enough housing for our seniors, especially subsidized housing, and some assisted living and personal care that is affordable for them based on what their income is, since it doesn't fluctuate, it stays the same. So there's some statistics there from the countywide housing needs assessment that was completed in 2023. It just ends up showing the increase in households and also what the aging population is. Some other issues that came up are civic issues, such as unsafe sidewalks. Some of the sidewalks can end up causing a tripping risk for some of our seniors as they're trying to get around, whether it's socializing or going to the grocery store, or even getting from one place to another with doctor's appointments. Some economic issues that kept coming up is the seniors are requesting not to pay for taxes, so that ends up coming up a lot. And then the other is at the bottom, the assisted living personal care facilities, which kind of fits in under the housing part too. Under this plan, there is 4 objectives to each goal that ends up also outlining a performance measure and also target dates as to when it will be reevaluated again and if we're meeting our goals.
A lot of data, a lot of work went into it. Thank you. It's a 4-year plan. Any questions?
Make a motion to approve the 4-year plan.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded.
I'm just curious, on the one aspect of the transportation options, you wanted to work on that. Is that something that you're working on with Lebanon Transit, or is that a AAA type of transportation service?
Kind of back and forth. We do end up funding the shared ride through Office of Aging and coordinate that with Lebanon Transit, but I'm going to be sitting in on the Lebanon Transit Advisory Council. So I'm hoping with some of my input that we can end up reviewing what our seniors are also still saying that they need, because I know they're revamping the routes right now and trying to make it more user-friendly. So hopefully with these changes, we can try and do something more for our seniors too.
Anything else? No other questions? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. So moved.
Okay.
Well done. Thank you.
you.
Done.
Gentlemen, good morning.
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 Welcome, and if you'd like to introduce yourselves, then you may proceed with your report.
Good morning, my name is Michael Ott. I'm the Special Operations Chief for the County of Lebanon.
I'm Gary Verna, I'm the Deputy Director of Emergency Management. Gotta apologize to you guys first. Jamie, you wanna send it, keep one for yourself and send it. That's the updated report. Pima uploaded the wrong one when I had it sent to you. We're here today to present the annual county HazMat report as required by Pima. We have some highlights for you to present to you. There are a total of 61 facilities which have extremely hazardous substance above threshold planning quantities. These facilities have a total of 344 chemicals on site throughout the facilities. There are 92 reporting facilities that do not have the extremely hazardous substances above threshold reporting quantities, with a total of 202 chemicals on site. One of the unique circumstances that was documented in this report, that we had to document unique circumstances that this county faces. And the one that was documented was the Norfolk Southern rail line and how it transverses through the county, how it splits the county in half, how it splits the city in half, how it splits Lebanon Valley College in half. Also affects 13 municipalities, and within a half-mile radius, it affects approximately 40,000 residents.
So from the Special Operations Team side, we responded to a total of 55 hazardous material incidents in 2023. Out of those 55, 23 were level 2 responses, which is what our HazMat team is certified to per Pima guidelines. And that means that we're state certified as a hazardous material team. 32 of those were petroleum-based spill responses, and we spent as a team 1,349 personnel hours in training. 1,280 of those hours were for responding to alarms. Part of our training is preparing for our recertification process that will be coming up this year, and they will have a full involved exercise. Part of that is that we conduct a full-scale self-evaluated exercise, which last year involved the mitigation and securing a leak from a chlorine cylinder. We conducted 2 functional exercises centered around suiting operations and decontamination. So we have the proper personal protective equipment going forward, and we're wearing that. 3 tabletop exercises were also conducted, 2 which involved train derailment scenarios, and 1 which also involved an incident on the interstate.
Some of the public outreach that we had to report on included LEPC outreach activities. And with those, we attended the Hebron United Methodist Church Festival, the back to school event hosted by Making a Difference of Lebanon PA, and Elko School District's Career Day.
So we're asking you as the commissioners and the county administrator for your approval and signatures to complete this to be eligible for the Hazardous Materials Response Fund grant that's available for us.
Let's get a motion, then we can have questions.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second it, and I do have a question. When will the full-scale exercise take place?
But we don't know that yet. PEMA will let us know
They
when
assign that date.
once we get the, this is a little bit of it. Once we get that report back from PEMA, they're gonna schedule the inspection of our equipment and our policies and procedures as far as the hazardous materials function goes, and then they'll also schedule the exercise.
I know the general public isn't tuned into all the effort that goes into protecting them in these areas. Can you just, you mentioned the number of hours in response, and I know the last couple of years has really, the team has been strengthened, the HazMat team and certified and so on, but you know, is there a comparison? Are we doing twice as many hours because we have a better team response, or just to give a little flavor as far as how much we've come along as a county HazMat team?
Well, I can't speak for the former chief, but in all fairness and seriousness, Gary really set this program forward for success, and I was fortunate enough to just ride his coattails. But what we have done as a team has continued to move forward because of the standards that PEMA has set. So there are X amount of hours that they require certain levels through a technician, through an operations person, or through the awareness part as a responder. So it would behoove anybody to continue to do training because that's your lifeblood, that's your insurance policy. And because we do delve into the situations that most first responders don't necessarily deal with on an everyday basis, the chemical responses, the petroleum responses, and stuff of that nature, those things change on a daily basis. So you want to maintain that. And I think by what has been established and where we continue to move forward with our new facility that we're going to be moving into, our new apparatus that we're going to be purchasing, it just piques people's interest and they want to be part of that. And we have a very good reputation throughout not only the county but also the Commonwealth. So that really helps us to try to sell the brand.
One of the important things to note is by state law, you have 2 hours from request to be dispatch, respond, and arrive on scene of a hazardous materials incident. Our average response time in 2023 was from dispatch to arrival 13 minutes. So if we were to have a contracted team do that, they're not making, cover the county, they're not making that time, which is very important. It's very important to get a handle on the situation, to make sure we're getting eyes on it, and make sure that we're mitigating that issue as quickly as possible. Chief Ott's very modest. I did a little bit, and his job when we hired him was to take what was there and make it better, and I think he's done that. So the county's in good hands with Chief Ott at the head.
I noticed that from 23 to 24, all the numbers seem to have dropped. Total number of chemicals at the facilities, 210 to 202. Number of chemicals at planning facilities, and I don't know what the difference is, but that went from 356 to 344. Are they using less chemicals, or have places closed, or what is going on there?
So the difference between those are there's extremely hazardous substances, and those are the things that really pose a threat if released out of their original container or misused to the general public. They're identified by the EPA as that. And the TPQ you saw in there, the threshold planning quantity, is how much of that. There's a certain amount per chemical that it has to reach, be over that to write an emergency plan for them. So that's the difference between a planning facility and a reporting facility. A reporting facility has chemical, it could be diesel fuel, it could be gasoline over a certain set amount for the EPA. Now, answer your question is why there's less. It's not that we're losing facilities. We actually gained 7 planning facilities from 2022 to 2023. What it is to report these chemicals, it has to be on site for 3 consecutive days. So what's happening is facilities are not storing them on site anymore. They're getting them in, they're ordering them, they're using them right away. So just because the number is lower doesn't mean that there's less in the county. What it means is the facilities are not storing it as long. They're getting it in, they're using it, and therefore they don't have to report it.
Just-in-time inventory, okay. That explains it, I just wasn't sure. Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else? Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this HazMat report, this annual HazMat report. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Morning.
Good morning. Hello.
No entourage?
No entourage, flying solo.
All right. All right. Please introduce yourself and go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Dan Lyons. I'm with the Redevelopment Authority. And I'd like to request this morning modifications to 2 community development block grant budgets. But before that, I'd just like to announce that the county, we learned 2 weeks ago, the county will be receiving a $400,000 home grant for us to continue operating the first-time homebuyer program. And I just want to say thank you for supporting that application last summer.
Does that include the city, or do they have their own?
It includes the city. It's countywide, inclusive of the city. And it provides down payment and closing cost assistance to income-eligible home buyers. Now, on the community development block grant side, what I'd like to request is a modification to 2 fiscal year budgets. Fiscal year 2019, which is your oldest open budget. Our contract with the state is expiring next month, and there remains a $20,000 balance in that grant. It was allocated to Mid-Penn Legal Services. Unfortunately, they're unable to spend it, and they won't be able to spend it before the deadline. I'd like to request that we move that $20,000 to Volunteers in Medicine, which was also funded in that fiscal year. They have excess unreimbursed costs that they can collect on quickly. In fiscal year...
Do you want to take these separately, or can we do them all in one?
Together, if you don't mind.
Yeah, they're in one resolution.
Combined resolution. In fiscal year 2022, which is your newest open grant year, we had a curb and sidewalk project in Jonestown Borough that was approved and included in our application. The state took issue with the income survey that was used to qualify the activity, and we had to essentially swap out the activity, put a placeholder in there, and then redo the income survey in Jonestown. The borough did that and succeeded in requalifying the activity. So this is just a maneuver to replace that activity in that fiscal year budget.
I will make a motion to approve the resolution that you request.
Second.
Okay. Any need to read it, Jamie? You good?
No, it just contains those things he described.
Okay. All right. We have a motion and a second to accept the report that Dan has presented in resolution form. Any questions regarding this resolution? If not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Thank you very
One
much.
quick follow-up on the city. How much of the $400,000 goes to the city?
It's not earmarked in any way by geography. So
Okay.
the redevelopment authority will administer that first come, first served basis,
Okay,
irrespective of their geography.
okay.
Do you recall what it was last?
Let's see.
Those 3 homes, were they in there?
Well, we had 5 homes under the current grant, and I want to say that,
I'm just talking about the 400,000.
yeah,
Was it 350, or, you know, did it,
for the city properties.
no, just the overall number, has it been increased or decreased?
It was actually 400,000 last time as
Oh,
well.
okay.
So it remained the same.
Sorry.
Okay. And it's, I think maybe 2 of the 5 were in the city.
2 of the 5 were in the city? I know we did the one in North Cornwall, Pleasant Hill.
And we had a West Lebanon Township, we had a Myerstown Borough,
Okay,
some diversity.
all right, great,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you very much.
I have 5 items to present before we move to Board of Elections. First item has a hotel tax grant request, and this is from the Lancaster Kennel Club, and they are going to be holding their Red Rose Classic at the Lebanon Expo Center in I don't know if I have
May
a
something.
date, but they've given you a pretty extensive application here on a lot of information on how their event is attended and the benefits from their event to the tourism community for Lebanon County.
Yep.
Their total project cost for their show is $14,426.55. They are requesting $4,912.50 of that, and that is 34% of their budget. If you look, I just want to note this because they did a great job on the second page of their narrative. They have 360 registrations for the show so far, which equates to about 150 individuals who travel with family and friends. They are the timing for this coming show is that the Westminster Kennel Club in Queens, New York, is being held the Monday and Tuesday after their show. So they believe they're going to have quite a number of people dog handlers coming through the area and attending their show on the way to New York. And they have secured 10 hotel rooms for their judges. They're using Down on the Farm Catering, local for the Lebanon Expo Center for meals and for the judges and so on, also open to the public. And they have been doing this at the Expo Center since 1999. Originally, they moved there 30 years ago. They've been in Lebanon County since 30 years ago because they were unable to find an affordable undercover site in Lancaster County. So they've been here ever since with their show. So they're really very happy.
It looks like what they're requesting will cover the rentals at the expo.
Yeah.
So motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. This one checks all the boxes. Any questions regarding the motion? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Okay, I have one exemption request for disabled veteran eligibility from property taxes. This is a surviving spouse, Ricky Good of Locust Street, Palmyra.
I make a motion to approve that request.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve that tax exemption for that spouse of a disabled veteran. Any questions? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
I have a grant application for you to consider for the Pennsylvania County Risk Pool, who is our property and liability insurance carrier. They provide a loss prevention grant program each policy year, and the safety committee meets and considers different needs from the departments around the county, and if approved by the safety committee, we pass it on to you for your consideration and approval. In this case, we have a grant request of $4,890 to replace the emergency lighting at the MHIDEI building. It is at least 30 years old. It is still functioning. However, parts are unavailable and they do test it occasionally. So if we have malfunctions there, they'll be unable to repair it. It is an eligible cost for the grant. This grant is $30,000 a year from P Corp. If you approve this grant, we will have about $18,000 left to use before the end of May. So we'll probably be back with some others. But this is certainly beneficial to us because it saves on some budgeted capital expenses when we can do this through our loss control grant, and it certainly is something that would benefit us in a liability scenario if we keep the emergency lighting working, power outages. So.
Okay. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay.
It's moved and seconded that we approve that P Corp grant request. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved.
Okay. I have an appointment request for the Redevelopment Authority of the County of Lebanon. Amy Leonard was a member of the board for many years, the authority for many years, and has now been appointed to be the solicitor to the authority and cannot serve simultaneously as a board member and solicitor, so that her resignation creates a vacancy, and the authority is recommending Jessica Kosoff, who is a business development and project manager for Arthur Funk & Son, also is a certified realtor at Penn Realty in Mount Gretna, and they believe her experiences in both would be beneficial to the authority.
I'll make a motion to appoint Jessica Kosoff to the board.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved.
And you have you've received a request from Pennsylvania 811, organization that promotes safe digging, and they are asking that you recognize April of 2024 as Pennsylvania 811 Safe Digging Month in Lebanon County, and if so, we will forward this on to them.
Okay, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we recognize through this proclamation Safe Digging Month for 811. Any questions? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved.
Okay, that's all I have for this meeting.
Okay.
You can recess or adjourn, but there's
we'll
no
just
further.
adjourn.
There's no further.
Other issue to bring up, I apologize for the late notice, but I just got a text message this morning from Shiloh Urick, who's the director of Caring Covered in Palmyra, and they have a building project that they're in fundraising mode for right now to expand their capabilities to serve the general Palmyra area, and they are about to apply to Senators Casey and Fetterman, and as well as Congressman Muser's office for some funding, and asked me personally, would I provide a letter of support? And I'm willing to do that, and I plan to do that, but I thought I would introduce it today. She's going to draft something and send it to us, and I would like to present that for, I think there's some timing issue to do this, so pending final approval of that letter, I would like to put a motion on the floor that we authorize a
Letter of support.
Yes, a support letter.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this support for Caring Covered. Any questions? If not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So moved. All right. Motion. Anything from the floor before we go into the election board? Motion to adjourn the regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. We stand adjourned. Thank you for your input and your attendance. Now turn the gavel over to Commissioner Kuhn.
Call the meeting to order of the Lebanon County Board of Elections. And we'll open the floor. First item on the agenda is to offer time for public comment. Is there any public comment this morning?
I have a comment.
Yes, sir. Would you please identify yourself for the record?
I'm Walter Allen. I live in Cornwall, and I'm just, I want to know what kind of security is being placed on the out-of-bounds voting depository that's out here in the parking lot. What kind of security is being placed on that? So we know that everybody is legitimate and that there's one ballot per person.
Well,
you want to try to start?
It's fully staffed. It's under camera, and it's only open when it's staffed.
Is it open 24 hours a day, or is it only open, like you said?
8:30 to 4:30. Just when it's just an extension of the office. So just when the office is open, it's open out there with the staff.
So my question would be, why would we spend additional money on that when people could just come in here and complete the absentee ballot process that we've always done in the last 50 years?
The idea is that it's very difficult to get into the building if you're handicapped. And this is a more accessible way for people to drop off at the building.
Handicap, I can certainly understand, but I'm sure it's not just handicapped people are using that
Oh,
facility.
no, it's also a lot more convenient for everyone.
I'm not so sure about the convenient part. I think the convenient part is we know there's all kinds of issues with this outpost of ballot box depositories. And it just seems like we're kind of allowing that to creep into our county. That's something that concerns me greatly, nationally as well as statewide and now countywide.
I read in the paper this morning that if the state has their way, there has been an introduction, the first step has been taken to eliminate not just drop boxes, but also extensions of the voter registration office, which would be our parking lot. So we're investing more money in a shed. So I hope that they don't destroy that. Personally, I see value in allowing people to drop those off, and you can disagree with me, and that's fine, but I see value in that.
The interesting part of that is with the big picture motion is they're starting the slow motion process of setting up remote voting centers. So this would be our toe in the water on that. Looking at what people that are behind that movement, that initiative, have written personally about it, you can see that there is the idea is to have multiple remote voting centers spread out around the county. Not so much sheds as professional storefronts or something. I don't want to put words in their mouth, but you can kind of see where they're going with this. We're talking long term. I don't think that's going to move forward at this time, but at this time, I think long term it'll be where Pennsylvania goes, which is where this plan kind of started to begin with, and this is sort of in between for now.
Right. So are there any additional public comments at this time? If not, Sean, we want to go ahead with your items for approval.
Sure. We have today, we are almost done L&A, and this would be the ballot. I sent the digital copies to you. I've printed out 6 copies, one from Republican, one Democrat, from each of the General Assembly races. That would capture everything that would be on the ballot, except for the committee races, because then you have to have all 240 pages. You'll notice the only thing here that would be of note that I would say is for the Democrat ballot, you have William Parker on the ballot for U.S. Senate, and you have Vodvarka for the Republicans for U.S. Senate. There are the 2 cases, Parker has just been removed, so it's too late to go back. we're rolling forward. Vodvarka, we don't expect even a decision on that possibly for 1 to 2 weeks. So everyone in the state now has been holding up for that, and we won't have a decision anyway. So we have to roll. To that end, if you go past the ballots, there are 2 disclaimers: one for the Democrats and one for the Republicans. These were taken from another county, and just adopted for ours. I forwarded them over to Matt earlier, and this is what would go. Something like this would go out with the mail-in ballots. It says warning.
This is the one?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There's one for both. It's just the same thing with the Democrat and candidate name swap. So these would be in the polling places on election day in each voting booth, and these would be mailed with, probably in a smaller format, would be mailed with the ballots as well. And this is generally, as far as I know, what every county is doing. I mean, this is literally the same language that other counties are using as well.
I'll put forward a motion to approve the ballot as presented.
A motion on the floor, to a second.
Second.
I do have a question.
Any comments or questions?
Just something that I don't know if there is an answer that you can give, or if it's a future correction. But I'm just curious why used Democratic versus it's a Democrat party, not the
Right.
Democratic Party.
That's the legally defined language that I have to adopt that's provided to me.
Is that a good enough answer? Can we, you know what I mean? It's an answer, but it doesn't make sense to me that, so I know because it has been
We
done.
want Democrat longer than Republican when you spell it. We want more letters.
No, I just want it to be correct.
I agree with you, Commissioner Phillips, that it feels unnatural to me to write it that way, but that's what the legal verbiage is that I'm provided, that I'm supposed to.
Maybe we can refer this to our solicitor. Among everything else. It's just something that I thought it's kind of, you would think it'd be a simple fix
Yeah.
to make it correct, but okay, I will hold up the process.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let's have it.
So, general status, a few things, all good news. One LNA is underway. We have multiple vendors on site this week. No Ink is down the hall working on the poll books. William Penn is working LNA across the warehouse. We have had no issues whatsoever. We hope to be done LNA by tomorrow morning for the vote tabulators. The e-poll books, I hopefully done tomorrow. I don't have any, we just started that a few hours ago, so I'm still figuring that process out. But no problems whatsoever. Everything's going through fine. Staffing, questions?
I see some, well, go ahead.
It's staffing. We made an offer to a new deputy. We're very excited about that. Joy, who I believe is back there today. So we hope to bring her on board as soon as possible. I'll be making an offer to a new office support / receptionist. Hopefully by the end of the week. We have some good candidates. I'm very excited with one in particular. So hopefully that works out. You'll be hearing about that shortly. I have numbers for you here on a few. Well, actually, let's do the booth first. The booth, we are still expecting the shed to be delivered next week. We have power already run out to it, so that's all set. And we have the schedule full for the first week of people filling the shifts, open and close. So the only thing I'm a little concerned about is getting the signage back in time for the outside booth. But we have cones, we have vote here signs. We can adopt things if we have to while we wait for the signs. By the numbers, I have some interesting numbers for you. If you go to the back of the packet with the ballots, I threw one extra page on there this morning because I was already pulling this up for my own research. I thought you'd find it interesting. If you look at the numbers for mail-ins and where we're in a very unexpected place for this primary, but I want to give it some perspective. So going back a few years, you had 6,500 mail-ins. Then in 2022, you had 12,000. Then last year, back down to 6,600, and this year 6,700. So 2022 was the outlier, and we were expecting that for this particular primary to match or exceed that. The numbers have fallen off the cliff statewide. Numbers are way down since the presidential race has been decided on both tickets, and all the Senate candidates have been eliminated except, well, I mean, I know we have some extra ones on our ballot, but they will be by election day most likely eliminated. There are almost no competitive races outside of the local 102nd. So the mail-in ballots have just statewide, there's nothing. We should be getting hundreds a day of applications, and we're getting 30 to 40 at this point. So what you see here, these numbers for the 2024 down at the bottom, aren't going to be changing much. But we're looking in the fall, we are still expecting closer to 15,000 for the mail-ins. That's our estimate. I don't think there will be a lack of interest in the fall. So what's even more interesting to me is out of those numbers, that 67, 66 number, we've had about 1,000 people terminate their mail-in requests. They want to vote in person. So net, we've actually added to that number of the core number. It is going up. I don't know also if you had seen the news in the last 24 hours, the Republican Party supporters have pledged $10 million in Pennsylvania to drive recruitment for mail-in ballot requests for the fall. So they're investing pretty heavily in that. I'm not sure how they're going to spend that money, but they are going to be spending money to drive that number up. We've had 25 military ballot requests. That's up from 3 last year, last fall, so that's significant. And that's just for the primary. We expect that to go way up in the fall as well. And those are our numbers. Things are rocking and rolling. Keeping people busy, so.
Thank you.
Any questions about those?
Thank you, Sean.
You expect then turnout will be down for the same reasons in the primary?
I would expect so, yeah. I mean, I think we're going to be doing better than last year, but I don't expect it to be as bad as we thought.
Well, to make a couple of comments, it's been an interesting few months of discussion and very opposing views on this subject. My own personal view is that I prefer people go to the polls. I've always done that. I understand those that value and really enjoy the mail-in ballot. I think it gives them time to review those ballots and heard many things from people, but we made a change in our process. Sean and I just talked the other day about more communication and maybe some frequently asked questions to make sure people understand. Sarah, back to your earlier question, and it's not a remote drop box. This is an extension of the office so that somebody will be handing somebody a ballot. It's not a box that somebody's dropping a ballot in, which has actually been published, I saw, which is a misunderstanding. So anyway, I believe this is more secure. I worked 38 years in the healthcare field, not as a clinician, but learned something important, that you treat the disease, not the symptom. In my opinion, whether we have a drop box or not, or how we accept mail-in ballots, is treating a symptom. In my opinion, I'm not a big fan of mail-in ballots. But that's we have to live with that right now, and it seems like my party seems to be promoting it even more at the state level. So again, we need to make it as secure as we can, and I think we've done that. We've made an improvement on the previous Dropbox location. Sir, public comments over, but I'll allow if you have something to add.
I was not here at the last meeting when the poll books were fully discussed, so this may have been addressed, but I don't know the answer to it at this point. With the e-poll books rolling out, which I'm not opposed to, but is there going to be a hard copy registration book there to reference those that are not on the electronic poll book? Is there going to be a cross-reference?
There will be, but they're the exact same data file. There'll be no differences between the two.
Okay.
But in case, I don't know, if the worst, I know something unexpected happened, there is also the paper books. They'll be sealed in the bags, but they'll be there.
Thank you for your question. Anything else?
I do have one thing for the gallery over here. It would be really helpful to get out there that Lebanon County is not late in sending ballots. The whole state has been held up. As far as I know, we will be one of the first 3 counties in the whole state that is actually hitting the mail next week. There's only one county that I know that had paperwork processed before we did, and it's Butler, and ours are going out the same day as they are. So it's not us. If people are wondering where their ballots are, it's not us.
I just wanted to point out that when you go to the polls and vote, you personally put your ballot into the scanner. Nobody else touches your ballot. So adding a person is not necessarily, I know there's a personal service, but people like to put it in themselves, whether it's the box or whatever. So that's why I resist it. I think it's adding an extra step, and that makes people uncomfortable because they like to put it in themselves.
Jim, do you have a question?
Yeah, when that first week, are these people volunteers? Will be more than one person in there collecting the ballots? How's that playing out?
We drew from our poll workers right now. We've had a lot of people step up, and so far, everyone on our list that I know of has been a poll worker or a canvasser. And it's narrowing. It's not that we don't have enough necessarily. It's finding, just like on election day, putting the people on the right days with availability. That's where we're kind of just struggling a little bit, but we are having lots of people step up.
it's one.
Yeah, one.
Anybody else? Anything else for the good of the order? Not, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Stand adjourned. Thank you.